Hi, my name is Daleen. I'm so grateful you came back. I'm pretty happy. I have coffee ready. I have hot cocoa ready. I have my new gloves on. My Doris Day gloves. I hope you got great presents for Christmas, or even just a couple of fun ones. Can't really picture Mr. Right in the store asking to buy Zsa Zsa Gabor gloves with glitter and a bow on them and fur. It's faux fur, don't worry. I kind of want to wear these all the time. It's really difficult to stitch with them. Anyway, thanks for coming back. I'm glad you're here. So before I put away the Christmas trees, yes, I have 8 Christmas trees. Before I put them all away and wrap up all the decorations, I thought I'd show you this tree. It was in my kitchen, and I just moved it into the sewing room so that we could do the video in here. It's just a lot more comfortable. So anyway, okay, so we'll talk about that in a second. All right, so the quilt. It's called the Goody Goody Gumdrop Quilt. And it's lots of oranges and bright pinks and bright greens and lime greens. I don't think it's showing up like that on the camera. But it's really juicy and fun and happy, and there's lots of flowers. And down the sides, I painted these clothespins orange. And I put pictures of my grandbabies. Let's see, can you see that? I put pictures of my grandbabies down the side, so it makes me smile and happy, and they're all laughing and giggling and painting and doing different things, and it's really fun. It's really fun. Okay, one of the grandkids, he asked his parents, he's 4, he asked his parents if he could have big boy scissors, and they said no, he wasn't old enough. So, being the 4-year-old that's super smarty pants, he asked Santa, and Santa brought him scissors and a hockey stick. So he's really happy. He was a really smart boy to do that. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. The girls, they came up with this plan. They really wanted an LOL dollhouse. And their parents said, no, that's way too much money. And no, we can't do that. We can't do that. And there's too much papers and too many things. And so they devised a plan to both ask Santa for the exact same thing so that they would have more power in their wishes. And good news, Santa brought them the dollhouse, so they were really happy. The oldest one's getting a little skeptical, but she was convinced when they got the dollhouse Christmas morning. So that was pretty fun. Okay, the Christmas tree, the reason I put it there, it is covered with 25 chrismons, and those are Christian symbols of our faith. And I made them back in, I don't know, the late 80s. And these are like plastic frames with a little plastic cover. And I tied a little gold bow on the top of it. I have the working copy pattern, but I can't find the regular one. I think it's from the early 80s. It feels like fax paper that we made copies on or something. Anyway, each one has a different Christian symbol. Like this is the Jerusalem cross that Christianity would spread to all 4 corners of the earth. We have all the different ones. There's a baptism one. There's a manger. There's a butterfly. There's an alpha and omega. Our church usually has huge ornaments on a very, very large tree. But I cross-stitched all of these, and it looks like 14 or 18, 14 count Aida. These were on Aida. And then it's just 3 threads, 3 colors of thread that you would use to do all the symbols. So, and I made this once for me, and it looks like by all the check marks I've made it 4 more times for other people. So, yeah, we'll have to talk about sewing for other people. We'll get into that at some point. So, okay. I have a previous finish that I wanted to show you. I've got to move my gloves. Can't wear the gloves while I'm showing all this stuff. Okay. I don't know why I'm more nervous today. I'm more nervous than I was the last couple times. Okay, I got my grandma's earrings on. I love these earrings. They don't pinch. You can wear them forever and ever. I wear lots of clip-on earrings because they're fancy and snazzy. Okay, so we have the Chrismons as my previous finish, and then this one is, let me show you the book first. It's from All Creatures Great and Small, or it's just called All Creatures, sorry, Stitched and Small. And there's 6 designs in this book by Leisure Arts, but it's by Lori Markovic. And you better know of her from Lottie Da Designs. And I saw this, I think it might have been on FlossTube. Anyway, I saw this, and last year, well, I guess it would have been 2 years ago, because this was my New Year's start. And okay, so I don't know why I put these belly dancing ankle bracelet on the bottom of this picture, but it's fun. I love it. I don't know why I have it hanging there. Okay, so I got this really thick, chunky frame. I thought it kind of did justice to a big, thick, heavy elephant. I just love the elephant. And she's a bead on her nose, a red bead. And actually, this fabric is not showing up the way it is, but I dyed this fabric using turmeric so that it would be a beautiful yellowy gold color. So you can kind of see some of the little watermarks, swirl marks on it. Turned out really fun. I loved it. I started it New Year's Day. I finished it like a week or 2 later. I was just so excited. I kept waiting and waiting and waiting so I could start it. It's really neat. And I love that ruby red bead on her nose. It was a really fun sampler. And I just framed it myself and laced it on the back and put it in this frame. And then I ordered I had to order. I didn't have a belly dancing ankle bracelet. Although that could be kind of fun, so anyway, that's a good one. That's a really good one. So every year I try to do a New Year's start. And this year, oops, I don't know if I asked the ladies permission. Okay, so one of the ladies wrote me, one of the comments was she was ordering fabric and she was going to do the New Year's start too. So we get to maybe do it together. That would be good. I would tell you her name, but I don't want to do that. Maybe she doesn't want people to know that she's going to start it, because if she doesn't start it, then she'll feel funny. But anyway, okay. This one is called Silent Sampler by Rosewood Manor. And I bought the fabric. And, it's beautiful fabric. I got all the threads. I had the silk threads for the flowers. And the basket is done in DMC, she says, so I just might be doing that. The fabric that I got is 28 count mushroom Lugana. So I wanted the picture to show up more and kind of speak more than the fabric this time. I'm not very good with the fabrics. I gotta get better at that. Maybe that could be one of my New Year's resolutions. I love the different colored fabrics, but I really do have to find one that I love. I just keep bouncing around all over, but maybe that's what everyone does. I don't know. It might be a good thing. Anyway, so I'm going to start that on New Year's Day. I'm pretty happy about that. That's a good one. It's going to be fun. It's pretty. Can't wait to do the flowers. I can't wait to do the basket. It'll be a good one. Okay. Let's see. Works in progress. Okay, first of all, and I can show you this because it's a free pattern called First Snow, and it's compliments of the drawn thread. Okay, so it's a very small pattern, Christmas tree with some birds in it. Actually, Caroline from Off the Grid Needle Arts, she's the one that suggested that you go to their website and look for it. And I really am happy that I did. It's just been one that I've done since, in the middle of all the Christmas activities and food and baking and all of those things. I decided to start this. And I have this leftover piece of fabric that I dyed, and it's kind of a gray color. You're not going to see all the little marks on the back once it's made into a little pillow or a little flat fold or what have you. But now I'm just stitching on the pine needles and then the white snowflakes. I think you can see a little bit of the white at the bottom, and I started a little bit of the snow at the top. But it was really fun to put the birds in there. It's really small. It's quick. It's 31 stitches wide by 83 stitches long. So it's a super quick stitch. Actually, this is a piece of it looks like, let me get my glasses. It looks like 36 count. 36 count. Okay, let's talk about the glasses. All right, so I've stitched for 30 some years. Well, probably longer than that, but anyway, I stitched and stitched for years and years with no glasses. And then the last couple years got a little trickier, and it wasn't as enjoyable to stitch on 36 or 32, or I've not tried 50 or 40. Yikes. Anyway, okay, so what I did was I know, this is brave. Okay, you got to be brave. The hobby that we have is it's not just a hobby to us. It's part of our life. It's part of who we are. And it's bigger than the word hobby. When you go to the eye doctor and you fill out that form and it says, do you do any computer work or hobbies? And so you check the box. So yes, I do computer work, and yes, I do a hobby. Okay, and then you go there and then they say, oh, are you seeing well? No. And as much as I like the doctor, Dr. Day is a great eye doctor, you know, wonderful, well-trained. And he's very intelligent in his field. I just don't think he knew what I was talking about when I said cross stitch. So I took my biggest sampler that I have here at my house, and I took it along with a piece that I was working on. So I took that huge sampler to the eye doctor, to the eye appointment, and not one person there, out of all the girls that worked there, the other doctor, any of the technicians, or Dr. Day, none of them had ever seen counted cross stitch up close. And he said, wow, this is intense. You're serious about this. This is a big thing. So he looked at it for a while, and then he said, how about if you start stitching on whatever you're stitching on? I'll give you 5-10 minutes. I'll go, I don't know, see another patient, do whatever I do, and then come back in here, and then we'll measure to see how far away you hold the fabric, when you're stitching. You know, so if you hold it like, and I stitch in hand, so how far away do you hold it with your needle? And then he measured from my eyes down to the piece of fabric. And I said, thank you for understanding, and thank you for taking me serious, that this is a big, huge part of my life, an hour or two every day almost. And he said, oh, it's not just you. We've had people come in here with their knitting. We've had a person came in with their gun, and how far they have to shoot, and how they have to do all the things they do for their competition shooting. A man came in with his deck of cards. He plays poker. He has 4 or 5, I think he had 5 different glasses that Dr. Day made for him. The sunglasses, the different ones, so that he could do his hobby. So we put this word hobby to kind of, it's an umbrella term for all sorts of things, whether you're painting little miniature Civil War chess set pieces, or you're cross-stitching on 36 count fabric. Our eyes are really important, and yes, they can help us. I think when you first start to notice that you need a little bit of help, I think the dollar store glasses are fine. I think the cheaters that are cute and adorable from Target or what have you, those are great, and that'll help you for a few years or a few months or what have you, and make it enjoyable again. But once you get a little bit farther down the road, you might need a little bit of help, and they're not a cheap date. I'm not going to tell you they are, but it's worth the money. It's worth saving up. You're worth it. Your hobby is worth it. This is a value. It's important. So put on your big girl panties, or and gentlemen, not that you wear panties. Okay, I don't know why I said that. Okay, be brave. Put your cross stitch. Go put it under your arm. Put it in a bag. Go to the eye doctor and show them what you do. I know it seems boastful, but think of it as show and tell, and show them what you do, and say, I really enjoy this, and I wanna keep going. So anyway, sorry, that was a sidetrack. I didn't mean to go on all about that. Okay, the other thing that I was working on is called Vintage Animals by Jeannette Douglas. And yeah, it's called Vintage Animals by Jeannette Douglas. And here's the picture. I got the pattern the last couple weeks in the mail. And so I started it on Christmas Day. So it was really fun in the afternoon to sit down just for an hour or two and do some stitching. So can you see this? I don't know how to do this. There we go. How's that? Is that good? Okay. Okay, so what I decided to do with this piece, I think I heard Kef from Snug Harbor Crafts talk, and she teases her mom about how many alphabets do we need? How many alphabets do we need? Well, the two little grandsons that live in California, their bedroom is decorated with wildlife and forest animals and forest creatures, and I decided that this particular piece, once I'm done with it, I'm going to frame it in a plastic frame with plexiglass, and I'm going to ask the parents if they could hang it up really low, their height, so that they could see it, and then they can look at the alphabet, and they can look at all the animals and pick them out, and there's no chance of them breaking it or what have you. So I think it'll be a fun one to do, just for an extra special treat for their bedroom. And I think kids need to see it. They need to be grateful that there's people that have some beautiful artwork that are willing to do it for children. So instead of placing it way up high on the wall where they can't see and they can't touch, we're going to put this one down at 3 or 4 feet from the ground, so that within reach, so that they can see it and they can enjoy it and they can count the animals and see the letters, and maybe I'll make their initials in a different color so they can pick theirs out. So that'll be a fun one. Okay, so the other one that I'm working on, let me just flip this around. It is the Heartstring Samplery by Beth Twist. There you go. And it's called Coffee Saves Lives. And so, here we go. I've made some progress since last we visited. Okay, how's that? Is that good? Alright. So, we're almost done with the border. I have a few more little coffee flowers or beans to stitch in there. And the letters are all done. And the coffee saves lives. This has been so weird. I don't know what happened. I've ran out of thread on 3 different colors. I just got it last night, so I was able to finish out a couple of the letters. I don't know if when I kitted this together, put this all together, if I just had thread that wasn't full skeins and I just used those and I just didn't have enough, or anyway. I have enough thread now, so I'm just plugging away on it and working on it. It's an enjoyable stitch. It's fun. It's that sampler feeling of knowing what's going to happen. The corners have all matched up. It's a pleasure to stitch. It's a real pleasure to stitch. So, have a bit more to go on that one, but I really like it. It's good. It's a good one. She does a good job designing. I really like her. I really like her a lot. Okay. So, one of the things let's see, oh, goodies in the mail. Okay, I ordered this cross wing collection, chickadee #1. So I think there's 6 different patterns of different birds. I got this suggestion from Brandy on Every Home Needs a Gnome. She has a really nice floss tubes channel. She's really kind. She speaks super clearly so you can understand her. She has a sweet smile. And she has a couple kids and a husband. And actually, I think she lives in Oregon. She's just really charming and funny and quirky and clever, and you'll enjoy. It goes by so quick. I'm sure they're normal length of videos, but they just seem to fly by because you're just really enjoying your visit with her. But anyway, she suggested this particular company, so I decided to go have a look, and I found one that I really liked, and I liked this little chickadee right here. Let's see. I don't even know if you can see it. It's a little chickadee on a little branch. And I'm not going to get grumpy or talk bad, but I just want to mention this little thing. I would like to stitch this for another stitcher, a person that likes birds. I already picked the person. I would like to stitch it for her. And I'm going to. I'm going to start it. 2 years ago, my New Year's resolution was I was going to stitch a little pin pillow, a count cross stitch pin pillow for every one of my friends for their birthdays, for all the people that I exchange birthday gifts with. So that was that, and I think there was a couple birthdays that I don't exchange, but I decided to do it that year anyway. And I made 14 pin pillows, and 2 people said thank you. Okay, so it was a big lesson. I've learned it several times in my life with my family, or not my small family, my extended family. Not everybody likes homemade presents. I really enjoyed stitching the pin pillows and sending them on their way. However, each one took 3 or 4 days, maybe a week for some of them, and not everybody stitches, so they don't understand the time and love and energy that goes into it. So for them, it just feels like, oh, that's my initial, or oh, they put the year of my birthday on it, or what have you. So I really would like to focus next year on stitching only for folks that stitch, that understand. That can be embroidery or crewel or needlepoint, just somebody who understands the idea that that a lot of time and love and energy goes into it. So anyway, that's one I'm really excited to start. I think I would like to start that this week. That'll be a good one. And the other goodie that came in the mail was Madame Chantilly. It's a little girl with a net, and she's catching the stars that are falling from the sky. And there's red poppies, and I love that. Okay, so this is called, it's called Night of the Stars. She's from northern Italy, so it's called Norte di Stella. However, Night of the Stars it's this magical place, constellation in between science and myth. So somewhere in the middle, the most beautiful stories are written in the sky. So that's where it comes from. The quote that is on here is written in Italian. However, there is a conversion for English, and it says, "Wisdom is to have dreams big enough not to lose sight when we pursue them." And that's an Oscar Wilde quote. I just love this pattern. I love the linen that it's stitched on. I thought it was so beautiful. She only, when I read more about her, she has 2 children. That's how she named her company. Their favorite dessert was Chantilly, which is heavy cream and vanilla custard mixed together. So that's where she came up with Chantilly. But her design, she originally started designing embroidery and switched over to also count and cross stitch. but she only uses just a few number of threads. And she said it's because she wanted a hobby with no stress. She didn't want to stress about how many threads and how many things. So all of the patterns, when you see her patterns, they're all a manageable amount of colors. There's the white stars and the red poppies and some greenery, and her dress is a little bit more deeper, a burgundy color. Her hair, kind of a blondie brown color. Her shoes are black, but other than that, it's very simplistic. And I think that sometimes I forget that. Sometimes I want to have this calm down hobby and not be tense and upset and shoulders that are all tense and tight. And I need to kind of just get into the rhythm and this calming thing, and kind of renews my spirit. So I love that about her. I would really like to do that one in 2019. That is one of the goals. The bird, Night of the Stars. I'd like to do that one. And then one other one that I would like to do in 2019 is called The Scottish Sampler by Kitten Stitcher, Shakespeare's Peddler. It's called Jane Pattison Scottish Sampler. And it's stitched in wool, and I've done that once before with the Riveris kit, the Lilies of the Valley. And I enjoyed it. It was nice. Teresa said that she was going to, I think in her last video, that she was going to bring that into her shop. And when she does, I think that's one of the ones that I'd like to do next year. My husband's family, my husband's from Quebec, and then his family originally is from Scotland. His grandfather came as a quarry person, and they went to the granite quarries in Quebec, and that's where he came from, Scotland, to and knew he could have a job there because he had a skill. So his grandmother's name is Georgina Thompson, and I think that particular sampler I'd like to make into a family sampler, and it has the Scottish thistle, and it's beautiful. And I have been looking for a sampler that had that in that. So those are the three things that I'd like to kind of focus on for 2019. Okay, now we get to talk about what I'm grateful for. Okay, big news flash. The grandkids loved their Christmas hats. So I'm pretty happy. They all wore them. I got pictures of each of them. They're all smiling. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing. I'm grateful. I'm grateful that they liked them. Because sometimes when you're in a sewing room, there's a really fine line between cool and thank you, Grandma. I don't know. I want to be the, yay, thanks, Granny, for the cute hat. That's where I want to be. So we didn't have a white Christmas here. We didn't have snow. However, because there was no snow, no rain, no wind, we got to put out 29 luminaires. Okay, so they look so great, lining the sidewalk, and they went all the way around the front yard on the sidewalk. And when we went to San Antonio one year for Christmas, all the houses did it, and each of the sidewalks would meet up, and everybody had their luminaires, which were brown paper school lunch bags, about 2 inches of kitty litter, and then one of the little teeny votive candles that are in the little metal, the little tea lights. And so you put one of those in each of them, and then you light them. And so we had those lit Christmas Eve. So it was so beautiful. It was really fun, and it looked wonderful. So that was a good backup plan for no white Christmas. So I was grateful for that. Okay, one of the things that I'm really grateful that we did is several years ago, we drove up to a grocery store, and we heard and saw the person from the Salvation Army ringing the bell. And one of my kids went, ugh! And quite frankly, I kind of was like, ugh, that noise. And right then and there, we decided, no, we can't behave that way. So we took money out of our charity envelope, and we went and got a bunch of ones. I don't remember, 25 ones. And we put them in this envelope and put it in the glove box. And then every single time we heard or saw or drove up to a store that had a bell ringer, we were like, oh good, they have one. And so then we would get $1 out of the envelope. And the goal was to empty your envelope by December 24th, before the stores closed. So I think one year, that last day, we had like $3 or $4 left, so we had to give it all at one time. And even though the kids have left, we still do that. So I'm very grateful that we have the means to have dollar bills in an envelope, and so we never say, ugh, the bell ringer, and we never say that. We're always looking for them. We're always trying to see where they are, and we grab our $1, and each of us gets to do that. So I'm very grateful. Grateful that we have the means to do that. This is the month. Okay, our family does Socktober. We donate socks, and we buy new socks for ourselves. Well, December ends up being the month that we're grateful for shoes. So I have this one story I wanted to tell you. Okay, we donate all the shoes that we can donate. We do try to buy a new pair of boots or heavy-duty shoes and give those to a homeless shelter or the rescue mission in Seattle, or what have you. Okay, so one time we were fortunate enough that we were in Strasbourg, France for a Kris Kringle Mart. And it's this wonderful market outside, and it's chilly, and you're all bundled up, and they have all these vendors and food and music and, of course, snow and decorations, and it's wonderful. It's pretty close to magical. It's pretty amazing. And we had gone with another family, another military family, and we were all together, and then we were starting to turn back to go back to where our car was. And I really, really wanted one of those crepes. It was so cold out, and it looked so steamy and warm, and you got to watch them make it. And Mr. Wright said, okay, just get your crepe, and then we'll all keep on walking, and you can just eat it in the car, or you can eat it on the way, or what have you. So I was super happy, and nobody else wanted one. I don't know, maybe I hadn't eaten all day or something, but I was so happy and excited to have it, and it was on this plate, a paper plate, and it was all these people bustling around, and I could hardly wait, and I think mine had chocolate in it. I can't really remember, but okay, odds are it might probably had Nutella in it, Okay, so and I decided to take one little bite, before I got back to the car and the kids and get everybody unbundled and all that, and then I could eat my crepe. So I decided to take a bite, and I took one bite. It was so delicious. And right at that moment, this person came and stole it out of my mouth and took the plate and took my crepe, and it just shocked me, and I kind of stopped, and I was dumbfounded. And unfortunately, at some of those Christmas markets, there's people that are underprivileged and are begging for money. They don't have anything, and it literally wanted my food, and so it caught me by such surprise, and I started crying. And then I was looking for Mr. Wright, and then the crowd kind of closed in, and I could barely see my friend's head. He was 6'2" or 3", and so I could kind of see his head, and then I lost that too. So I was kind of standing there by myself, and I started crying. Tears are still rolling down my face. I didn't get my crepe. Then that was kind of rude. I know the people were hungry, and we would have bought them one, but anyway, the person took mine, and it was quite the hullabaloo. Okay, so I took a minute, and I thought, all right, just keep walking and walk towards the car, and we'll all meet at the car. So I kept walking with this huge crowd, and a little upset that I didn't have my crepe, and kind of grumpy, and trying to wipe the tears away, and I was cold, and okay, so I'm walking. I memorized where we had parked, so I was walking that direction. And then when I came across this little bridge over little creek or something, I saw Mr. Wright. So I was really happy, obviously, and our friends. And so I saw him reach into his back pocket to get his wallet. You know that look when a man reaches back and puts his hand over a wallet and takes it out of his pocket. And he opened his wallet and he gave every bit of money that he had, and then he reached into his pocket and gave all of the coins that he had to this woman. This, she was looked down on her luck, was begging for money, and most of the time we would give small coins to these people. There's a lot of them, and we can only give a little bit to each person. But anyway, and then I saw our friend open his wallet and take all the money out and give it to this person. And I kept walking closer and closer, and I couldn't figure out, why did we give all the other people just a coin or two? And why did this person cause my husband to empty his entire wallet and our friend? And I kept walking, and they walked towards the car. And we all had an agreement that if anyone got misplaced, we'd all meet at the car. So nobody was too worried. And when I walked past that woman, she didn't have any shoes on. She had rags and like bandages and like ace bandage and things wrapped around her feet for shoes. So from then on, every single December we give shoes, and I'm really grateful. I have beautiful shoes, I have beautiful boots, I have fun, I have snazzy, I have silly, I have loafers. I have way too many shoes for one person. So if we can, I'm very grateful that we have the means to be able to donate shoes to people, or give some of our shoes. So anyway, okay, and one other thing I'm grateful for is one of the best presents I gave this year. I know, it's pretty exciting. Okay, so it's not a family member, which we gave great gifts. It was fun, it was happy. We're all blessed and had lots of good things. But there's a little girl in my neighborhood. She's about 10 or 11, and she happens to have celiac disease. And one day this month, I was kind of lamenting the fact that I couldn't have this, and I couldn't have that, and I couldn't have this treat. And it's everywhere you look, there's treats and goodies and all kinds of holiday things. And I was thinking about Jocelyn, that if I was 11 years old, I would feel so sad if I couldn't have candy and treats and cookies like everybody else. So the day or two before Christmas, I decided to bake one of my favorite batches of chocolate chip cookies. They're gluten-free, there's dairy-free, they're vegan, and they're so good. They're really, really delicious. So I made an entire batch with big chunks of chocolate, and gluten-free. Everything was gluten-free. And I also bought a big candy bar that is gluten-free. And I wrapped it all up and like a big gift for a big family. And I just put her name on it. And I said, I know how tricky it is at the holidays, especially the holidays, to not have treats like everybody else. And on Christmas Day, there was a knock on our door, and Jocelyn had come over with a handwritten thank you note. And she really felt so lucky and happy, and thank you for the chocolate, and thank you for the cookies, and she was super happy. So the thoughtful gifts end up being the best ones. They end up being the best ones. So anyway, thanks for sticking with me. I'm glad you came over. Happy New Year. I hope you have a really healthy, happy, fun New Year, and the whole year, I hope it's filled with all kinds of stitchy goodness. So happy stitching. See you next time. Bye.